Over the weekend, we saw a series called Inventing Anna. And I was so dumbfounded by this that I had to talk about it. Now, Netflix, I'm sorry, but Netflix in recent times has been very disappointing. You don't have fantastic movies in Netflix. They are always really old movies or old series. So once in a while, when you see new movies or movies that are just Netflix originals that are actually interesting to watch, it's exciting. It's exciting. Now, that was the case for this Inventing Anna. Now, Inventing Anna is a TV series that investigates the case of Anna Delvey. Anna Delvey is the alias of Anna Sorokin. Now, Anna Sorokin is her real name, but she goes by Anna Delvey. Now, this interesting lady was born in Russia. She moved to Germany and eventually relocated to New York, America, to chase the American dream without actually working. Like, who does that? And she almost did. In fact, she achieved this really. Lived a flamboyant life, you know. She lived the grand life of being in America, being in New York, amongst the elite. It was mind-blowing. Now, in this series, Vivian, who is an investigative journalist, tries to retrace steps, you know, to find out if all the accusations on Anna Delvey were true, to put together a complete story of who really this Anna Delvey is. Now, when I was watching this movie, and at every point you keep wondering, like, what kind of a person is this? Every single point you keep wondering, this is ridiculous. And I kept saying to myself, you know what? This is a movie, so it cannot happen in real life. It's just a movie, so it's only movies that this thing can happen like this. Only for me to finish watching this series and find out that it's a real life story. Like, this happened in real life. Unbelievable. I mean, you guys should see this movie. This, it's not a movie, I keep calling it movies, it's a series. Although it's a limited series, it just has 9 episodes. But my God. Now, you probably have like a friend, maybe in secondary school, primary school, or wherever, or university, or a friend generally who, you know, just lies a lot, just tells you so many stories that don't make sense, you know, as to how their parents are a lot more than they actually are. So they might lie so many grand lies, lie about so many things concerning how they live, their lifestyle, where they come from, their family's wealth, you know, all of that. A lot of us have friends like that, you know, and we know them. At some point we identify their lies and we just move on. Now imagine that's your friend, that is lying all these big lies. Imagine that your friend, her own lie telling is such that she was given a scholarship. Imagine that this telling lies, it's a degree or something. Now imagine that this person was given a scholarship by all the top Ivy League schools. Oh God, this girl really lied her way through New York, mingling with the top elite of New York. As it's mind-boggling. Like, she was able to get so much money from people, swindle people from a lot of money. She was able to live large in a lot of hotels, top luxurious hotels, without paying. She couldn't really afford those things. She couldn't afford the lifestyle that she was living. But she was able to convince people somehow to fund this lifestyle. She was able to get people to part with their money. She was able to get even a bank to part with $100,000 overdraft for her. Like, this is ridiculous. You guys need to see this movie, I'm telling you. Now, we know that because it's a movie, a lot of parts in the script are not going to be really what happened. They're just going to be put together to make the story complete. But after seeing the movie and realizing that this is a real life story, I decided to go do some Google search and see really who this person is. Turns out that this person is a real person. She actually does have an Instagram account in real life. There was an Instagram account opened for this girl when she was in court to show her court dresses. This was a real thing. Someone actually did open an Instagram account that shows the different dresses she wore during court hearings. It's interesting, right? It's interesting. Now, not just the fact that this person is interesting, the character of Anna Delvey is interesting, but also the other people that make up the whole story. Now, the reporter was such the dedication. I don't know, all these abroad reporters, all these abroad investigative reporters, they're always like extra, extra. They always want to go extra mile. Although, yes, in this case, this lady had something to prove because her name had been tarnished at some point. So she needed to clear her name, she needed to prove something that she knows her worth, she's worth her onions, stuff like that. So she was really out of it. But man, I really admire her husband. That the man was really, really patient. I don't think I can be such a patient partner. It can never be me. It cannot be me. I cannot deal. Like there's some professions that I just know that I cannot do. You see reporters, not the reporter that sits, those reporters that sit on the screen and just read the news and all those ones. No, those are not the ones I'm talking about. Those that go into the field, those that do a lot of investigative stuff, I cannot deal with those kind of people. You see, doctors, no, it cannot be me, never. I cannot deal. Military people, no, never, never, never. Or pastors. Now, I know that I have any problem with pastors, but I feel that being a pastor's wife just demands like its own special calling. So that cannot be me, or that cannot be me, in fact. Not me, never. So there are certain people or certain professions, and I just say their partners are amazing. Like they are the only ones that could have made this work. Because imagine that her partner was giving her a lot of trouble, you understand, was not understanding, was not helping her, being patient and all. She wouldn't have been able to go through it as much work she was able to put into the reporting, being all the perseverance that she put into, and being hard-headed, because that's the only way she could have come up, she could have survived all of this. She was really hard-headed. Now, if she didn't have a very patient partner, she wouldn't have been able to achieve that. Now, the friends as well, you could see the different types of people in someone's life. You have the friend who was the fair weather friend, kind of. We would say the fair weather friend, even though she too was swindled, but we would say the fair weather friend because she was there when it was rose, when she was willing to be there for the ride when it was really fantastic, when she was paying her bills, when she was taking her out for all the luxurious outings and everything, and even she will be trying to prove that, okay, she's something, riding on the friend's wealth because they think that she comes from a wealthy family. Now, she had deceived everybody to believe that she's a German heiress, that she's a German heiress with a trust fund of over 60 million euros. Like, for God's sake, even Hush Puppy don't do pass like this, honestly. She was able to deceive every single person, to convince everybody that this is who she is, And these friends of hers, the different types of friends that she had, were at some point riding on this, at some point riding on the fact that, oh, this person is wealthy, they want to associate with her, and all of that. Then you have the friend who is just a ride or die, like that one that's going to kill, like she can practically kill herself for you. Like if someone says, this your friend killed somebody, she will say it's a lie. It's not. Even if she sees that the friend killed the person, she will say there's a reason why she killed her, or there's a reason why she killed him. She will defend her friend to the end. That's the kind of friend. That's the kind of friend that one of her friends who she met along the way is. Then you have another friend who's just a fair friend, not like a fair weather friend, but she's fair in terms of her judgment. When something happens, she looks at it and says, okay, this wasn't right, and this is what it should be, and she just tries to be fair in her own judgment. Now, of course, we know that as a movie, some things will be added to make the story whole. But then, after seeing the movie and then doing like a little Google research, as well as watching some interviews of her, like the real Anna Delvey, and her friend who she swindled, Rachel, it was clear that the movie really did justice to the story of Anna Delvey as told from these people's perspective, as told from the perspective of the people who had encounters with her. Now, I wish that the movie was able to give us more perspective on Anna Delvey herself, the story from her own perspective, because a lot of these parts of the series were from different people that she had met, who had encountered her, who have felt betrayed by her, who have felt swindled or duped or something by her. And I would have loved to also see or know what her own perspective was in the story. Even though when you watch some interviews that she gave, she felt no remorse whatsoever.
I have no patience for people's stupidity.
Do you see this whole thing as a victimless crime?
I don't see this case as a crime at all. How about that?
How can you not see it as a crime?
What was that so criminal that I've done?
But then these interviews are not like super detailed to tell you the full story. But yes, from the general overview, she doesn't feel like she did commit a crime. She just feels like, okay, this is normal. Like, this is a hustle. Like why would these people even believe her in the first place? It's their fault. Like, if they will fall for anything, it's their fault. And she feels like she's really smart. Like, she was able to pull off all the things that she was able to pull off. She even almost started a foundation. Now, this foundation was called the ADF Foundation and a Delvey Foundation, which is supposed to be like a high-class foundation for the 1% of the 1%, you know, for art exhibitions. It's supposed to have some hotels and all of that. It was supposed to be like a really, really grand thing. She was supposed to get a space, a super high-class space for this. Everything was going smoothly. Her life was entering every corner, you know, and everybody was believing her. It's amazing how that the word of mouth, people can really, 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 really buy the word of mouth. You say, you know, this person introduces you to this person. So because of that, certain things are just overlooked. The due process that should have been done were not done. They were just like, okay, we know this person, we know that she has so and so money, even though you really, really, technically, you really don't know this person. But because somebody introduced her to you and you believe that that person has credibility, now you are giving that same credibility to this person who you don't even know shit about. Now, this person who even introduced this girl to you was also introduced to this girl. Like, even that person doesn't even know shit about this girl. So she was just able to put together a web of so many influential people and was able to pull off this stunt, get money from the bank. The only thing she didn't get was $22 million that she was supposed to get to finance her foundation, which, in fact, if she was able to pull that out, I would have been like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, we know that people have committed worse crimes than this. People have been able to swindle people from a lot of crimes that are much, much worse than this. But what's interesting to me is how that, you know, she didn't need to, you know, the regular kind of wire fraud that you do, hack into systems, you know. She didn't need to do all of that. All she was doing was to ride on the influence of people. All she did was convince people that she's a person that she isn't, and then ride on the influence she was able to get from people to get what she wanted from other people. I mean, this sociopathic madness of this one person is something else. Anyway, her lies did eventually catch up with her, and after all the drama that ensued during her court trials, because I mean, this girl just turned the whole thing into a circus. She just made it about her. She made it like a fame thing. Like, I've not seen a kind of person like this. After all of this, she was eventually sentenced to prison, to jail, and she spent just 3 years in jail. Now, my question is 3 years in jail a fair punishment for all the things that this girl had done? Is 3 years in jail a fair punishment because she was released on the grounds of good behavior? Good good behavior. Okay. So is that a fair enough? Would you say that's a fair enough punishment for such level of crime? And in fact, some people, based on reports and all, some people are even calling her a role model. What kind of a generation are we in? I don't understand it. A role model, someone who's a fraudster, who duped people of their money, who made friends and took advantage of these relationships and took advantage of love that people gave to her to swindle them of so much money, to even get them to lose their jobs, get them in trouble without even bothering about how this affects these people's lives. And this is the person that some people have decided to make their role model. It is ridiculous, the kind of things that is going on in our society today. The kind of things that people look up to, the kind of people that people look up to now. Some people say she is a real American dream, you know, come to America and whatever it is that you want to be, you can be if you have the tenacity to go after it. Some people say she's hardworking, she has zeal, she has drive. Really? Really? Really, guys? Is this what we are promoting, really? That someone who doesn't want to put in the work, or let's not say she doesn't want to put in the work, because because the power to convince people, to manipulate people and all of that, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot to do all of that. But who doesn't want to put in honest work to get what every other person is getting, or to get to the point where she wants to get? I don't think that's someone that people should talk about, or people should encourage, or people should consider their role model. In the comment section, I'd like you to tell me what you think about this girl, Anna Delvey. I'll see you guys next week, guys. Do have a fantastic week. Bye.